to the Dude's Ranch. The Dude's Ranch was founded in the latter half of the 1900s by 3 conscientious Notre Dame students. They wished to capture the adventuresome and wild spirit of the Old West, in a contrast to their relatively tame and boring existence created here by the natural environment in South Bend. Do I see a hand? A question?
Yes, exactly. When was the Dude's Ranch founded?
About 3 months ago.
All the artifacts contained in these walls represent one of the finest collections of Western paraphernalia in all the Campus View apartment complex, I dare say.
That's true. Now today, looks like we have a lot of smiling faces out there, so I think it'd be best if we split up into 2 groups. Fanny Mae, you'll take one group, and me, I'm Cody, I'll take the rest of you. So let's start our tour. All right, everyone. Today we'll start our tour on the south wall of the collection. Now, if you just focus your attention up here, I bet you all recognize this hat, or a reasonable facsimile thereof, as belonging to a one Davy Crockett. Now, as we all know, he gave his life for the Republic of Texas in that great battle at the Alamo. And if we could just pause a minute here to remember that great battle. Okay, now right below that hat we have a Confederate $500 bill mounted on and shellacked on a piece of cedar. We found this in a thrift store not far from the Dude's Ranch, and I'm sorry to say it is completely worthless. However, when the South does it again, we have $500. Let's go over this way. Come on. All right. Now here we have a lovely painting of 3 horses. Notice we have a black, a brown, and a white, representing the whole cross-section of our nation. And it's done by a famous Western artist named A. Dago. And what I like about this, probably the best, is the frame. Notice how it just kind of envisions that early Americana. I think it's beautiful. All right, now as we proceed west, I guess that is, go west, we happen across a beautiful saddle, don't you think? Now this saddle here was owned by somebody obviously with money, as we can notice the fine stitching and embroidery on the actual saddle. It's a little bit smaller than your average saddle, but it was, you know, they came in different sizes, I guess. Now above this is, you guessed it, a bullwhip, which in the early West, they didn't have too many bulls, but they did have wives. All right. Well, here we have another painting. Now this is a very traditional painting of the spirit of America, the patriots, and that is something that would have been seen in a Western setting, in a home or a log cabin out there on the plains. All right.
Now everybody all come on in here now. Now honey, you come in front. Shh. We are now entering the inner sanctum of our facility here. Who you see here is John the Duke Wayne, a figure I'm sure known to all. He is captured here on a machine loom tapestry made on a small island off the coast of mainland China, which is something I think that shows the influence of Western culture at home and abroad. Now, if you look closely at the tapestry, you will notice a border surrounding the figure of Mr. Wayne. This border tells the story of the settlers' move west. This individualistic spirit of early Americana is personified in the iconographic figure of Mr. Wayne, which has led the artist to entitle this work, Man in Vest Destiny. I think that's appropriate, don't you? We keep this candle lit all times with a burning flame as a tribute to the eternal spirit of Mr. Wayne. Above it is a horseshoe I found. I think it looks kind of nice there. Questions? Okay, if not, we'll move on. Let's go to the rope room. This way. Oh my goodness. Don't be alarmed. This scary critter is stuffed, and he has been for some time now. His name is Juan the Iguana, and he comes to us from the desert sands of Chihuahua, Mexico. Oh, and this is Johnny Cash.
In the next part of our tour, we're going to be looking at the darker, deeper side of the Old West. Now, we're going to have to dim the lights for this part, so stay close to me. You don't know what we'll run into. Okay, let me get the lantern up here. All right, keep your eyes open. Rattler! Cody! Keep your eyes open. Come on, partners. Look what we've happened upon here. Looks like the short arm of the law gave this owner of Bandito the long end of the rope. Can you say Bandito? Very good. Actually, this piece is on loan to the museum from some friends of ours in Nevada. I think it makes a very powerful statement, don't you? Well, looking over this swinging guy is our friend Peyote the dog. Peyote is a replica of an Indian icon whose job it was to watch over the spirits of dead Indian warriors. But for us, he just watches over the museum when we're away. Hey, Peyote, you been hitting that fire water? All right, here we have a genuine Texas cactus. You know, you could survive on the water from this cactus if you had your canteen had run dry. And it was a friend of many of the pioneers. What we have here is an ancient Indian burial shroud. Now, each tribe had its own special colors. Now, I'm not sure if this belonged to the Apache or the Comanche or maybe even the Iroquois. Not too sure about that. All right, over here, we have a fine collection of early Western literature. Such classics as Billy the Kid, Daybreak, and True Grit. Can't you just taste it? Over here, we have an actual replica of one of the covered wagons used by the ill-fated Donner Party. This expedition had to resort to cannibalism in order to survive the bitter cold Oregon winter. That's one party I'm glad I didn't get an invitation to. Now, directly above that is a work entitled Black Hat with Arrow Through It. It looks like some Indian really got his point across, if you know what I mean. Now, above that is a piece of natural art, and it's a rattlesnake skin. Notice the fine detailing of the skin. I just love it. All right, well, that's the darker side of the Old West. Kind of scary, wasn't it? Well, why don't we just saddle up and move on to the next part of our tour, the rope room. So come on along. Well, look who we run into. It's Fanny Mae and our other half. Hey, Fanny Mae.
Hi, Cody.
Well, this means that we're almost at the end of our tour, but we do have one work left on the wall right here. Now, this is an abstraction done by a domestic artist, and it represents something that we as Americans should all be familiar with. Now, the artist has asked the curator, and in turn us, to ask the people on tour what this thing represents. Now, would anybody like to take a guess at what this thing on the wall is? Oh, don't be shy.
How about
Yes.
spaghetti?
No.
Does it represent woman?
Definitely not.
How about man's inhumanity towards fellow man?
No, no. Oh, what about you, young lady in the leather pants?
Sadomasochism?
No. And I'm not sure, but was a psychology major in college, and I think you are in need of some serious help. But back to the work. This represents the United States of America as if it were seen on a map. Here we have California, the mountain range, the Rockies. The metal represents the mineral and ores taken from those mountains. Here we have the plains, the flat lands going down to the Gulf. And here's the chains, which represent the bondage of our black brethren at a black moment of time in our history. And as we move east, we have the Appalachians and East Coast. The metal here represents the birth of the Industrial Revolution. I think that's just about it we have today, Fanny Mae.
I think so too. I might add, however, that this museum is run by your donation, so please be generous. Do stop at the gift shop.
That's very true. And we need that money to keep the upkeep of all this fine pieces of art. And also, I'd like to thank the fine people from PBS, that's Public Broadcasting System, I think. And you might have noticed the lights and the cameras running around while you're on your tour. And I think, I'm not sure though, that we're all going to be on television at some later date. So that's something to get excited about. Isn't that, Fanny Mae?
So is.
So from all of us here at the Dudes Ranch, let's wave goodbye. So long and howdy, partners.